Hey there, people. Hi. So, as you know, my name is Jay Ellis, and I appreciate all of you taking the time out of your day to listen to me ramble on for the next 20 minutes or so. So, if this is not going to be your traditional little slideshow thing, because I am not your traditional person. This is, for lack of a better word, my swan song to the dear school that is Indigo. And without further ado, let's get started.
I love you, Jay.
Thank you. So, I know it may sound a bit weird that I'm starting off my presentation about Indigo with my old school, but bear with me, please. So, yeah, my old school was called Trace Elementary, and even though it was elementary school, it was a lot more complicated for me. There were tons of different kids, and personalities would vary wildly. I'm pretty sure that the max amount of children they had at Trace was 1,000 children. And, you know, you may think, with all those types of kids, that you may have quite a few that may appreciate and like me, right? Well, that wasn't always the case, sadly. So, yeah, it was a very large school, as I said. And there were tons of different kids from a multitude of different backgrounds. You can have one kid that was really timid and shy and kept to themselves. And then you can have one kid who was just completely crazy and just all over the place and a bit of a mess. And so the teachers there were also pretty cool, but I'm not really even going to be talking about them that much. So why did I even mention them? That's the true question, comrades. And so now that I've told you a little bit about my old school, I think it might be a bit wise to say a little bit about who I was back in elementary. I was a very hyper child. I was much worse, and that may make sense to most of you. I also had much worse ADHD than I do now, which didn't really help with me being hyper. And I was also a very weird child, and while I still am, it was much, much worse. So, to put it bluntly, I was the fresh meat. I have a lot of stories that I want to tell. What a perfect transition. There's this one time back in 2nd grade when I was just like playing with the grass, I guess, picking out some little grass things, being lonely, when about 6 girls kind of started running at me in the grass. And in an act of pure instinct, I tried to run away from them, but they were a lot faster than me because I was not the most athletic kid. And so, yeah, they kind of catched up to me, and since it was muddy, the grass was muddy since it was raining the previous day, the females thought it would be rather humorous to try and stick my face into some mud. Thankfully, I was able to stop them because I'm just so strong. But I never really figured out why they did it. And so, as you can see, I was quite the ladies' man. Yeah, there was also science camp. I had science camp in both 5th and 6th grade, which is pretty dandy. And so, I'd say that 5th grade science camp was a little bit better than 6th grade, I'm going to be honest. It's one of the fond memories that I have being at Trace. There was this one time, it was a night, we were in the treetop little things. We went to Camp Campbell, by the way, the same camp that we went to in my 6th grade. And so, I only had like my sleeping bag and a pillow, and I was very cold. And so one of the kids from my school, Christopher, he actually lended me one of his blankets. It was so nice of him. And I slept soundly that night. And so, Trace Elementary was also where I started doing band, as you can see. Yeah, ever since I was an infant, I've always been into drums. My mother has been telling me this story for many, many years. When I was like 1, and I had this little toy snare drum, I was just with the little baby drumsticks, I was beating on it, and I actually told my mom, Mom, I got the beat. I kid you not.
True.
And so yeah, I translated the beat to second, for me starting to do band in 2nd grade. And if I hadn't started then, I might not be as interested into it as I am now, and that would have just been terrible. So you see, when I was in Trace, I was bullied a lot, which also sucked. And so, people took advantage of me being just trying to be nice and me being rather naive. and I just really wanted friends. And so there were a lot of people who took advantage of that and started saying things like, if you don't do this thing, I'll stop being your friend, or if you do this thing, yada yada yada, I'll stop being your friend. And I was in a lot of emotional turmoil, and because of this I had very bad experiences with Trace. I had a few good, but it was mostly bad. And so when I graduated from elementary school, I'm not even there yet, and I'm already thinking ahead. But yeah, I had hope for a new school experience, to be able to make some new friends, have some better teachers, and just have an all-around great time. And I also just had high expectations for just being able to enjoy myself and just be big ol' happy. And so this is the perfect transition into teachers.
Oh.
So, yeah, teachers. I think that they are very underappreciated in society. I mean, they're basically responsible for teaching the new generation, and they get paid barely anything. It's terrible. It's terrible. And while there are both good and bad teachers, I ain't gonna be talking about the bad teachers today. Today, I'm gonna be talking about some of the great teachers that I've had at Indigo Middle School. So, I think it's appropriate to start with Miss Bishop, since she was the first teacher that I had. Currently, she is the 7th grade math teacher and the science teacher for all grades, and has been my homeroom teacher ever since I came to Indigo for 3 years straight. I'd say that Miss Bishop is a very nice teacher. I know nice is a bit broad, but, she was just very kind. Very kind. And she was also very understanding. She was also very patient. She would stick with us and be able to help us as much as she could, for as long as she could, even when it was just a messy day. A messy day, because, we're children. We're obviously going to cause some trouble. But yeah, the next teacher I'd like to talk about is Mr. Flynn. You see, Mr. Flynn is probably one of the most professional teachers I know. And I know that sounds a bit weird, but what I mean by that is, he didn't really take any nonsense from nobody. At least I didn't think so. He didn't take any of my nonsense, that's for sure. Yeah. Mr. Flynn is currently the 8th grade math teacher and the social studies teacher for all grades. And he is a very unique teacher in the sense that he's always been able to find something new and exciting for every grade. He would even let us choose the topics that we would do for the following year. He did that. It was great. And so Mr. Flynn is also a fantastic cook, which is great, because in his social studies classes, he would always find a way to implement cooking into the classes. Like, he would find like a type of dish that would correlate with what we were learning. And it was great. It was so much fun. It was much better than learning things. It was much better than learning things. And of course, there is my Indigo band teacher for 2 years straight now, Miss Leonard. Now, Miss Leonard is just so great at what she does, you see. She's been interested in band for a very long time, and I'd say that it shows. And Miss Leonard also taught me the true meaning of the word percussion. Daddle-a-dee. I don't know why I said that. You see, when I came to Indigo, I did not know how to read sheet music. It was a bit complicated, but long story short, in Trace, they did a lot of extracurriculars, and they didn't have enough money to get sheet music for the percussionists. They couldn't get it they got it for everyone else except for us. What terrible discrimination. And so, yeah, when I got to Indigo in 6th grade, another band teacher, who I don't remember the name of, taught me actually how to read sheet music. But Miss Leonard, she actually really taught me, She really taught me how to read sheet music. She showed me the multiple different implements of sheet music and how it all worked, and it was great. And she also actually introduced me to the word percussion, which I did not know until Miss Leonard. You see, I first thought that it was just called playing the drums. I thought that was just this old thing on its own, which it's not. Well, let me help you out right there. It's not, if any of you guys thought that. But yeah, it's called percussion, and that means you have to learn tons of different types of instruments, and it's a bit stressful. There was this one instrument that I had. It's called the Glockenspiel. Pretty sure it's German, And it was my mortal enemy throughout all of 7th grade. It was my biggest adversary, though I've learned to like it, to dislike it a bit less now, and that's good. Miss Leonard also helped me rediscover my love for music. Mom, work with me, okay? I'm sorry. I know you taught me all of the music, but Miss Leonard helped me rediscover my love for music, okay? Alright, thank you. So, yeah, when Miss Leonard was teaching us back in 7th grade, she suggested a few songs that we were playing, and I loved them so much that I finally got back into listening to music, and she also helped me get reintroduced into my now favorite band, Queen, and I think you can tell with the shirt that I'm wearing right now, Queen shirt. But yeah, Miss Leonard did help me with all of that stuff, and I'm very grateful. She's a great band teacher. And speaking of band, I have a little song that I'd like to play with a good friend of mine. Give us me a second, please. I did not have everything prepared because I am not good at planning ahead. Excuse me. Let me get this. Work with me, dear viewers. I have a lot of stuff to Oh no, I'm leaving you, Jill. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's taking a minute. Okay, this is in camera view? Can the camera see me?
Yes.
Alright, great.
I'll stand over here.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, the song that I'm playing is called Attack of the Garden Gnomes. Just a brushes. I need to get a couple more things too. Yeah, you got that. I need to get that though. I know I'm unprepared. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being unprepared.
Good things come to those who wait, Jay.
I suppose so. But yeah, no. We're not gonna skip the stomping. Okay, so this song is called Attack on the Garden Gnomes, and I wanted to play this because I think it really shows just how incredible percussion is and what all of it can do. And it's just very good. Yes. Alright, 1, 2, ready, play.
That's why I told you. Thank you. Now give me a second to put literally everything back. Oh yeah, I'd also like to thank my good friend over here, Emma, for playing with me. She did it good. You're welcome. Okay, good. The rest of it later. Work with me, dear viewer. Now back to the presentation at hand. So, yeah, each of my teachers were able to give me many opportunities and just teach me so much. They helped me mature throughout my time at Indigo. I mean, back when I started in Indigo, I was a bit of a mess. I was not very mature at all, and I was just still all over the place. But throughout the year, with the help of my teachers and a few others who I will talk about later, they helped me mature and just become a better person. and of course the job that they're actually supposed to do, they taught me quite a lot of wisdom, and they gave me so much information that I hope to show and just keep showing when I head off to high school. And of course, they gave me tons and tons of support and care that I'm very, very grateful for. Thanks to all y'all. Y'all are great. Y'all are great teachers. And so, yeah, teachers are great, and my elementary was subpar, but do you want to know where the real action is? You see, the real action is with your peers, your fellow students, your main people.
TV, dude.
You see, with teachers, you can only have such a strong relationship. Not that I'm undermining the relationship that you have with your teachers. They're still great. Y'all are still great. But I think that with your peers, you can create such a much more meaningful relationship, and even have some lifelong friends. And so I want to go over each year and the friends that I've made along the way. It's very important to me. So sixth grade year. It was a bit of a rough year for me. I was still in quote-unquote elementary school mode, which meant I was still very naive. And I did have a few friends, and if I may say, they were rather dandy. I know I used that word before. It's a nice word. Yeah, their names were Parker and Anthony, and I barely remember anything about them. I don't even think I had any pictures of them. Did I? I don't think I did. But yeah, we spent almost the whole of my sixth grade year just sitting around talking, and it was a good time. And so, and while that was pretty good, it certainly was not as good as seventh grade. It was, I've actually heard that a lot of people hated their seventh grade year, and I'm like, why? Seventh grade was awesome. Seventh grade was awesome for me, at least. It was a very good year. I had much better friends, and I just felt really accepted. I got to be in a friend group, and it was just some of the best times in my current life for me. I'm very grateful to each of them, and right now, I would like to talk about them in larger detail than I did with Parker and Anthony. Oh no. Yeah, first person I'd like to talk about is Caitlin K, who is here. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi,
Yay. Yeah, this is just how I kind of saw Caitlin. I saw Caitlin as a rather level-headed person who was able to keep us in check whenever we were doing things. For you see, I know this may sound absolutely preposterous, but we were rather dramatic children. And so, Caitlin would usually help us and stop us from going too far because we had very hard opinions on everything, and Caitlin would essentially stop us from going into an all-out war. Yeah. I'd also say Caitlin was a very positive person, one of the most positive people I've known in my current lifetime, always able to keep her head above the ground, just being very cheerful most of the time, keeping our morale up, you know? Caitlin was also usually the voice of reason if we did end up arguing when her first line of defense didn't work. The next person I'd like to talk about is Grace L., who sadly couldn't make it today. I know this may be incredibly incorrect, but this is how I saw Grace. Grace, to me, was a very good listener. She would just, listen to what I had to say if I had any problems, and would just, give her opinion on it. And that was good. It was just good to have a bit of advice from your fellow friends. Isn't that great? It is great. I also think that Grace was a very funny person. Because we had a few things in common, the jokes that she made were rather funny to me, even though I laugh at almost everything that I hear. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I know y'all know. I know all y'all know. But yeah, if I were to be honest, I have a deep respect for Grace and the way that she kind of just goes along with life, just thinking of one day as just one day. It's not like she's letting everything that happens just define her in the past. It's just, I think that the way Grace takes on life is very respectful. And of course, there is my main man, Akash, who is also here today. Hi, Akash! Yay! Yeah, Akash, to me, was a rather relaxed person and would usually be able, and he would usually just be down for anything that seemed fun and not bad.
Yes. Akash is also a very friendly person, and I kind of blame Akash for giving me the 7th grade friends that I have now. Let me tell you that story. You see, it all started with one man, Rick Riordan. Yeah. Yeah, I know you remember him. For those of you who don't remember him, though, he is the author of the Percy Jackson series and quite a few other books. And Rick Riordan is currently my favorite author. And if it wasn't for my love of Rick Riordan and his books, Akash and I probably wouldn't have hit it off so well when we really formally met in the library. I saw him reading a Rick Riordan book, and then we just started reading over the Rick Riordan book and having funny commentary, and it was great. That's just those times with your friends, you know? And so, if it wasn't for that, then I definitely wouldn't have had as good as a year as I did. And I thanks Akash for being such a Rick Riordan geek, for being as much as a geek as I was. Thank you. And now we're gonna go to my 8th grade year, my current year, and it was probably my best year in Indigo. The reason I think that is because when I came back from my 7th grade spring break, I came with enthusiasm, confidence in my own abilities, and being slightly more mature. Only slightly. Yeah, and while I did make a couple new friends that year, I also enhanced my friendships with a few of the people that I knew last year. First, I'm going to talk with Nasir, who is here today. Hello, Nasir.
Hey.
I hope you're having fun. Yeah. You see this guy right here. This guy is hilarious. I think you're hilarious. Yeah. You see, Nasir and I are basically the same person, so we have a lot in common. And so the way that the type of jokes he made were also very, very funny. And we have hung out a few times outside of school, and I really do see a bit of myself in him. Whatever that may be. I don't know what it is specifically, but I know it's something. The next person I'd like to talk about is Emma, who is here reluctantly. You see, I kidnapped her. I forced her to be here. Yeah, you're here against your will, if anyone asks. But yeah, I did know Emma last year in my 7th grade year, but we didn't really talk as much because we had other people to talk to. But you see, when 8th grade started and Akash, Grace, and Caitlin left, which was so sad, I never wanted to see them go, but you had to leave. You had to. But yes, you see, as soon as they left, Emma and I were basically stuck with each other. And we were stuck with each other, whether we liked it or not. And you see, we've been through thick and thin ever since this happened. And you see, if I were to be honest, Emma is more like a sibling to me than a friend. The annoying little sister. And I know that she sees me as just annoying, but you know, I'm proud. And if there is a few things that we have in common is that we both love theater and we both love the Marvel franchise. We're both Marvel geeks. And I know that we have argued quite a lot for as long as we know each other. More specifically this year, but I do think that we are going to stay friends when I leave off to high school, and you will not be forgotten. I hope they remember you. And the last the last person I'd like to talk about is Eve. Now, I don't know if this makes sense or not, but you see, Eve is a aggressively friendly person in the sense that she would never let any of us talk bad about ourselves, ever. Now, you see, can you stop that? Thank you, Emma. Don't worry, you still won't be forgotten. But yes, Eve, I've quoted her on this, and Eve has specifically said, if you keep talking bad about yourself, I'm going to physically fight you. And
Right on, Eve.
yeah, you see, my mom gets it. My mom was probably exactly like that in middle school. But yes, that actually really did help me, even if that makes sense, which I don't think it did. That was a bad sentence. But yeah, okay, he finds it funny. He finds my failure funny. Okay, now both of them do. Okay, thank you. I'm so confident in my own abilities right now. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're on a time limit here.
We're not, but we are. But yeah, you see, back in like 7th and 6th grade, I had a very big problem with self-deprecating humor. I know Miss Bishop remembers this. I would keep talking bad about myself, and it wasn't even funny. It didn't help anyone else. It didn't help me. It was just a bad time for me. And so it came to the point where Miss Bishop actually did, like, say kind of funny things like, for every like self-deprecating comment you make, I'm gonna tell Coach to make you do a push-up, and I did not want to do that. I did like one time, but I remember it vividly. Yeah, but yeah, Eve did actually really help me with self-deprecating humor, and now I only talk bad about myself like only a couple times now, instead of about every 5 minutes, and I'd say that's an improvement. And also, Eve is a rather creative person, and I think you can see that with the little thing that she did with her little head, with her like little
Headdress.
Yeah, the headdress. That apparently that's what that's called. But yeah, headdress. Yeah, like really need I say more. So yeah, if you didn't know which high school I was going to, I am going to be heading off to Oak Grove High School. I'm the only 8th grader going there, so I'm going to be all alone. Yeah, but you know, like, I do have a few goals when I leave Indigo. One of my goals is just to be able to leave a bit of a positive impression with everyone that I meet there. Like, in high school, I just hope to be able to make some great friends, meet some new teachers, and just be able to have a great time, but I don't want it to stop there. You see, when I leave high school, when I'm done with everything I'm doing, like, wherever I go, whoever the people, like, whoever I'm with, I just want to be able to let everyone know that I'm going to be myself. No one is going to stop me. I'm just not going to let anyone stop me from being who I am and what I want to be. Thank you. All right, y'all relax. I'm just a person. But yeah, any questions, comments?
I have a request.
A request.
When in future you perform in front of 20,000 people, I would like to get an invite.
I will try my best.
Please, if you
I'll
can
try my
remember.
best, but again.
Yeah.
Yes, Ebba, is that a question?
What about me? You forgot
Question
Emma!
about me too.
What about I didn't know what to say. I wasn't sure what to say about you. I don't know how to project my opinion on both of you to everyone else. I don't. I guess I just don't know how I feel about you, one way or another. I guess I don't know how I
Ebba's the
feel
best
about
artist,
you. Ebba is a fantastic artiste.
and Wes is the best chicken farmer.
He is a chicken farmer. He's very good. Hey everyone, hey Ebba, you want to be put on the spotlight and see some good drawings? And have everyone see some good drawings of you? Since you were forgotten. Apologies. Come on. Flop. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. This is something that Ebba drew. Can I pass it around to everyone?
Okay.
I'd like to. I know. Well, I know. Okay. Never mind then. Sorry. But yeah, you are still a friend of mine. I'm sorry you were forgotten. Yes, Miss Bishop?
Jay, I want to say a couple of things.
Okay.
One, it was the first time that I've ever heard you talk, in depth about your experience before you came to Indigo. So thank you for just opening up and being willing to share that part of your experience and seeing that picture of you, like in class, and the thumbs up, and like you are somebody who just wants to be seen, and for you and who you are. And to hear how you were treated, which is awful and breaks my heart, and then to remember you as a 6th grader and the self-deprecating humor, and just where you were at, and just you wanted to be seen for who you were. And so I'm so grateful that you have your close friends that could really see you. And to see you standing here now, and just to have seen you, over this past year, especially in 8th grade, where your peers in 8th grade, can see you, and you feel I think you feel comfortable in your skin, with everybody here.
Yeah, you know.
And not just the kind of pockets of friends who can really see you. So it's a joy to have known you now for 3 years, and to see your presentation, and you're a really remarkable person, and I'd like that invitation too.
All right, send me your emails. I'll try and send you an email.
You'll be so famous.
And maybe consider drama at Oak Grove.
Yes.
The theater department.
I am trying to push it, guys. I'm pushing it.
Hey guys,
Don't worry.
If I get a request to do Hamilton, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna see that classic J. Ellis flair that I hope all of y'all noticed. Yes, Emma.
Good job on Attack.
On what?
Attack of the Garden.
Oh, thank you. You did very well too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Jay, you've grown a lot since I've known you since 6th grade. I just couldn't, you were Akash's friend, but I couldn't make sense of who you were. You're all
I was
over
a
the
mess.
place.
A fun mess,
but
hopefully.
I've seen you grow, and I want you to know that, friendship goes both ways. And I hope you understand that you have so many friends because you are lovable and you are a great friend. It's not just one way. It's not like, they are your friends, you are their friend too, and you have given a lot to them too.
I really do appreciate that. Yes, dear mother, who I love so much.
So I can clear it up for all of you.
Oh,
Since
no.
my son was in my belly, and every night since, I have whispered in his ear, every night, one day you're going to be a star. And your name is going to be in lights. And all the people are going to yell, Jay Dayton, Jay Dayton. He will be a star one day. Because all that personality cannot just be held off for just us. It's got to be shared for the world. So, I will do everything in my power to encourage him and teach him and be right there to support him to be all that he can be in everything that he does. Like you do every day since you were born.
Thank you, dearest mother, who I love so much. Anyone else?
I want the award
Oh.
though. When your first Grammy, it goes to me.
Oh, you'll be last. I'm kidding. Of course I'll dedicate it to you.
No, it goes to my house.
Oh, no. Now, the first one's mine. You can have the second one. The second one. No, the second one goes to my kids. You can have the third.
That's all right. I'll be living with you anyways.
Yeah. Yes, Emma. Another one?
Thanks for being a good friend of, I'm guessing, all the him, her, me, and Caitlin, and
Everyone
other
else.
people, and Akash, and others, and all of your other friends who aren't sitting here.
Thank you for existing.
Yeah, you gotta thank my mom for me existing. It's
No,
not really...
we got to thank only one person.
All right, fair enough.
God is the only one to thank for this.
Jay, if there's something you could, we have some 7th graders here. What would you recommend to them as they're preparing for their presentation next year?
Oh, okay.
What advice would you give to students who are going to be doing this next year?
Well, to all you 7th graders, anxious or not, happy or sad, however you're feeling, just make it you. Put in as much of you as you can. Make it known who you are, so then everyone can just be able to I'm pretty sure you would all like to be able to appreciate that. Just having to be known and loved by the people that you do know, and the people that you will eventually meet in the future. I think that's just very important. So, yeah, just make it as much of you as you can. Akash, do you have something to say?
Oh yeah, about what you said about becoming more mature, that's definitely true, and I have seen you growing a lot. I'll be honest, back in 6th grade, you were kind of a weird kid.
Oh yeah, man, I'm still a weird kid.
Eventually, we did bond, and I saw you become, a nicer person. You were also more mature, and more of a fun person to hang out with, and that's who you've become today, so.
Oh, hey man, I appreciate that.
You need to stop growing, though. I can't take it, man. You need to start like, maybe slouch more. Maybe slouch more. Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, yes.
Jay, it was just really nice to hear everything that you shared today, and I'm just wondering, you seem to be very aware of yourself and what's important to you, even before going into this process. I'm wondering if there was some revelation, or was there anything that really stood out to you as you were going through this specific process for your 8th grade presentation that you learned?
Well, like I said, for advice, I just wanted it to be me, and I've always known who I was and who I was going to be and who I want to be, and I just wanted to reflect that into the presentation. And anyone else? Oh wow, Emma, that's a bit surprised.
I mean, after hearing everyone else say something, I feel like I have to say something too.
You don't have to say anything.
I know I may not be as close to you as some of your other friends, and I apologize for not being so kind to you when you first came to this school. And I'm really glad that you invited me to the graduation presentation because I got to learn so much more about you. And your humorous demeanor really made your graduation presentation that much greater. And I know that there's a lot of good things in store for you in the future.
Thank you, Emma. I'm surprised that any of you really found me funny. I thought I wasn't at all funny. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Good job, man.
Stop it, I'm just a person. Stop it.